Okay, over here we got, these are the new kids, and they were discussing wardrobe over here. And over here, this is the one test they did with the firecracker, and they showed this to the fire department to say that they are testing products, but that's not quite. Anyways, and this is them practicing for their weekend gig. They had a little play to do. And as far as I can see right now, I know this is the director of the NEC, and he's in the director's chair. So, and I don't know if you can see this here over here. This is a couple more photos we got of these. They used to, new kids writing electrical codes. So these are the kids that write electrical codes because they got nothing else to do. But they, after they wrote the last code, I think this is might be right after they did the that circuit interrupter, that arc fault circuit. They had a party and they ate some sandwiches and some turkey and stuff. And they even invited the director there. So this is the new kids writing electrical codes. Or they are definitely the same qualifications as the kids writing electrical codes. Because the kids writing electrical codes now have no authority at all to write any electrical codes. They don't even know how to read. They just write stuff. See, again, white. Just want to verify one thing. When breaker juiced, he makes a product. He shows the proof it works. He doesn't have to say it solves anything. And these kids here don't have to have any proof that it solves anything. Because it doesn't. The arc fault circuit interrupter doesn't solve a problem. It creates one. But breaker juice made money. And these kids just let the problem end up with the property owner. I had a couple of different occasions. Got one occasion here. I know a friend of mine, he bought 2 of those plug-in heaters. And I told him, I says, they're like 1,500 watts apiece. You've seen them all the time. I told him, I says, you need dedicated lines for that. Because they draw about 12 amps. Well, he got mad at me and left. He doesn't own the property. He rents. The electrical problem's going to be there when he moves to the next tenant. And the property owner that renting the property has got the problem. Because these kids don't pay attention to what's going on. On those products, the air conditioners, the heaters, all these high-end appliances, they have to say on a big tag, they have to write on them, this product needs a dedicated 20 amp circuit. And they don't say it. A lot of them now are saying this 1,500 watts and they'll show the amperage. Some of them will show the amperage, most of them don't. I've seen a whole bunch of air conditioners by Toshiba. They were 12,000, 13,000 BTUs. We had to look it up ourselves to find out how many amps is that. So what I did is I did a run through. I'll show you what I did in a minute. That product shows on the box 120 volt 15 amp plug. Well, that's wrong. This is the 15 amp plug. And this is going to fail. But this is going to heat because we plug in wires in the back. They're not going to stop selling these air conditioners. Everybody's buying them. So that rolling air conditioner, you got to prepare yourself now. When you plug this in the back, they've noticed this before. You can't do it with 12 gauge wire anymore. They stopped that. You have to run on the wire, around the wires. That doesn't mean that the people are not going to use their rolling air conditioner in the bedroom circuits. So all these wires are getting hot. These are going to expand and contract, and what's going to happen is this. You're eventually going to heat the wires, and then you're going to have a problem with the arc fault, the arcing. And the arc fault breaker is not going to solve that problem. The solving of the problem is right now. Put a sticker on the box. This product needs a dedicated 20 amp circuit on its own individual circuit with nothing else on it. That's the only thing that's going to solve it. Because the arc fault breaker, I don't know what it does. It won't solve that problem. The air conditioners, the heaters, and everything else, they are going to do this. And they are going to do it right here. Every time. That's why you don't put the 12 wires in the back no more. But that doesn't work anymore. You have to put a dedicated line. You have to put that sticker on every rolling air conditioner, every air conditioner. You need to put, this is all we do. This is what I've been doing for 40 years, is repairing the systems. Every time it's the same thing. It's overheating with overcurrent, with high current items, loose connections, or even without loose connections, whatever it is, it's going to turn out to this. Unless you have a dedicated circuit breaker with a 20 amp, 12 gauge wire with a 20 amp plug. That's the only way to protect it. See, Breaker Juice doesn't care. He created it. He made money. He's still making money. These kids writing codes are now putting it everywhere. And Charlie loves it because Charlie's going to make money. He's going to come back and fix all these problems. He's not going to fix it right. He doesn't care. Charlie's going to come back because Susan Smith doesn't want to pay electrical wages. I tell everybody right now, don't fool around with electricity. It's dangerous. Hire a licensed electrician. You got houses that $5, $6, $1 million house. So you spend a couple $100, get a licensed electrician. It's the only way you know it's done safe. Don't listen, don't have Charlie come over and touch anything in your house. When he shows up with all these tools that don't work, I don't even know what these do. But I know what Charlie does. He's going to screw up your property. And electricity is dangerous. Don't let Charlie in. Hire an electrician. Go to your local wholesale electrical house and ask for a reference. They're the best way you're going to get a contact. That's it. Okay, tip number 1. When you're washing your baby in the sink, do not throw your George Foreman grill in the water. It's dangerous. That's your first tip of the day. Okay, your second tip. Don't put your whole hog, electric whole hog, in the tub while your business partner is in there taking a bath. You might kill him. I don't want to kill Robert. He's my best friend. You okay, Robert? You're going to get electrocuted, right? Okay.
Where's the electric radio?
This particular air conditioner is 8,000 BTU hours and 12,000 BTU hours. It says it on there. But nowhere on this box does it say how much your current is trying. And I looked at it. Stop. And again, UL lists it for use in the industry. So being that I have a lot of experience in the problems in houses, the number one problem, like I said, it's what you use to plug in the sockets. So we're going to have to test this out because it doesn't say anything about what kind of current you take. A 115 15 amp outlet is, I know it's not good enough, but we're going to check it out anyway. We're going to do a test on this thing because they won't show you on the box. This here is an amp probe. I'm going to wrap it around a wire to show this to read out the current going through the line. And this is what you need to, this is what I'm saying about the air conditioners and everything else. They need to have the listing on the box about the current. Anything on a continuous load, if it's over 5 or 6 amps, it must have a 20 amp line. If it's over 7, it should say it shall have a 20 amp dedicated circuit on it. Because if you don't, you're going to have a troubleshoot problem, and you're going to pay an electrician to fix the troubleshoot, and you're still going to run the 20 amp line in order to use the product. A 15,000 watt heater, and it says it brags about 15,000 watts. Well, you got to do your own calculations. Divide it into 120 and find out what you get. If you have 9 amps or at least 8 amps, and over 8 amps, it needs a dedicated 20 amp circuit. It shall have it. If it's over 5 or 6 amps, and this is a unit that's going to be a continuous load. There's a difference between a continuous load and a quickie deal that you just put on and off. This is a continuous load, so if you calculate everything, it needs to have at least anything 7 amps and over. It should have a dedicated 20 amp circuit. This one here is running. Is it still at 9?
Yeah, it stays. It's right where it should be 928 or some shit.
9.2.
No, it's 9.7, 9.68.
Okay, 9.6. This is getting closer to 10 amps. Ask any electrician anywhere. You got this kind of amperage. This is more than a lot of your appliances in your house. It needs to have a separate dedicated 20 amp circuit A dedicated line, that's just the way it is. Or else you are overheating your wires inside your walls. Your overcurrent device is your circuit breaker. That's in the circuit breaker panel. That's protecting your wires. When you start to get hot, the breaker will trip. There's no saying that your breaker is going to function every time, but this is drawing too much wattage for any other line. You put two of these into one circuit, it's going to trip the breaker. And then you start having problems. Dedicated 20 amp circuit breaker for this unit or any other unit at this time. Anything over 5,000, anything over 6,000 BTUs, you should have it. And that plug-in heaters, the floor space heaters that take a lot of wattage, it needs a 20 amp dedicated line. I can't say it enough. Do it.